Hello. So this, I don't know why my voice sounded like that. So this week we're talking about The Conjuring 2. And this is the week before the last week. So October went by pretty fast. We're already at the second to last week. And I'm also surprised that this is unlike last year. Maybe because I'm filming at night and other people are in the house? I don't know, but this is unlike last year. Anyway, so we're going to get into it. I'm going to read you the plot, then I'm going to show you my favorite clip, and then I'm going to give you my rating. But we're also going to have a moment at the end to talk about how Hollywood had a big part in this movie. And I think that in the plot, they're going to mention a certain name that I will not be saying because I just am uncomfortable with saying the name of the demon because it is an actual demon. So I'm going to have the name pop up on the screen because I don't want to say it. But anyway, so we're gonna jump into it. In 1976, paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren investigate the Amityville murders at the Amityville house to determine if a demonic presence was truly responsible for Ronald DeFeo Jr. killing his entire family on November 13th, 1974, and the subsequent haunting incident involving the Lutz family. During a seance, Lorraine is drawn into a vision where she relives the murders and encounters a demonic nun figure. She then witnesses Ed being impaled, badly frightening her. In 1977, the Hodgson family begin to experience strange occurrences in their home in the London borough of Enfield after Janet, the second oldest of 4 children, plays with a Ouija board. Janet starts to sleepwalk and converses in her dreams with an entity in the form of an angry elderly man who sits in the family's armchair, insisting the house is his. Eventually, the Hodgson siblings and their mother Peggy witness paranormal events, terrifying them into seeking refuge with their neighbors. When the media attempts to interview the family, Janet is possessed by the elderly man Bill Wilkins, who previously lived and died in the house. As Janet shows more signs of demonic possession, the story eventually reaches the Warrens, and their assistance is requested to prove whether or not Janet's possession is a hoax. Lorraine, fearful that her vision of Ed's death may become reality, warns him not to get involved. She has another vision of the demonic nun in Ed's study. The demon says its name, which Lorraine scratches into her Bible in a trance. While staying at the Hodgson residence, Ed and Lorraine Warren consult other paranormal investigators, including Maurice Gross and Anita Gregory.
Morris Gross.
Oh, Morris Gross.
That's how they pronounced it. Anyway, sorry.
I mean, it's... And Anita Gregory on the legitimacy of the case. Gregory presents video evidence of Janet wrecking the kitchen on purpose, thereby discrediting the haunting. Based on this, Ed and Lorraine decide to leave, believing the family is lying for fame. However, they discover that the spirit of Wilkins is only a pawn being manipulated by the true demon, the powerful nun who is seeking to break Janet's will. Lorraine realizes that her abilities have been blocked by the nun, preventing her from grasping the truth of Janet's possession. Ed and Lorraine quickly return to the Hodgson residence and find Janet possessed and the rest of the Hodgsons locked outside the house. Ed ventures inside alone and finds Janet at the window ready to didn't know there needed to be a trigger warning at the beginning of this video. Ready to off herself, essentially. He manages to grab Janet in time, but is close to falling. Lightning strikes a tree in the yard, turning it into a stump that impales Ed in Lorraine's vision. He didn't actually get impaled, don't worry. Lorraine finds her Bible, in which she wrote the demon's name. She addresses the demon by its name, successfully condemning it back to hell. Janet is freed of its possession, and Lorraine pulls her and Ed to safety. After returning home, Ed adds an item to his and Lorraine's collection, a haunted crooked man, toy owned by Peggy's youngest child, placing it beside April's music box and the Annabelle doll. Well, it's actually not beside the Annabelle doll. The Annabelle doll is across from it, but it is next to April's music box from the first movie we talked about. Anyway, so that was the plot. Here I'm going to put the video clip of the best villain out of a horror movie, in my opinion, because the woman played this character so well, it freaked me out the first time I saw it. Like, she did so well at the nun. Like, what I'm gonna say, because we don't get to the nun this year, we get to it next year. What I want to say about the nun, though, is the nun movie is bad, but the Conjuring 2 is good. So it's like a movie that has the nun in it is good, but then the movie about the nun itself, not so much. That's kind of disappointing. When the nun is such an interesting villain, it's kind of disappointing that the backstory about the nun is, in my opinion, boring. But anyway, so I'll put the video clip in here so you can see what I mean. Judy?
Honey? What's wrong?
Mom. Who's that?
Go back.
I'm sorry, Lorraine.
So that was the video clip. Crazy. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. My main favorite part are some of the comedic lines. One is where she's talking to Ed Warren about her ex-husband. And then the other one is when he walks into the basement and sees all the water and says, "Bloody hell." So those are the two moments that are my favorite because of how funny they are. Also, Patrick Wilson is just hilarious as Ed Warren. So Lorraine also helped with this movie, like she did with the last one. Let's see what else. Right. The rating. So with this rating, I give it a 10 out of 10. I feel like this movie was amazing, and I feel like it was a lot better than the first one. Like, everything was much clearer, and I think everything was described more clear, so like I was able to understand it better than like the first one, because the first one you could still be confused about some stuff. I feel like this one explained everything better. Here's what I wanted to have a conversation about. Hollywood. So if you know anything about Ed and Lorraine Warren, you know they were paranormal investigators that actually went to places and did things, okay? If you're watching these videos and you watch these movies, then you probably did your research about Ed and Lorraine Warren because you were probably curious. Amityville was something they actually did. We're not going to talk about the Amityville part in this. I can make a video about Amityville if you want me to, but what we want to talk about is The Nun. The Nun is great for cinematic purposes. The Nun looks creepy. The Nun is creepy. The Nun pulls you into the story, makes you interested how the Nun is going to fit in because it terrorizes Lorraine. But y'all might be shocked when you hear me say this. The Nun is not real. The Nun was created. And you might be like, well, The Conjuring's based on a true story. Yes. The Enfield poltergeist was the story they were telling. Poltergeists do not have names. They are just entities that are meant to frighten you, but they do not have a name. As far as I know, this poltergeist didn't have a name. The demon's name they chose is the name of an actual greater demon. That's why I'm not saying it. But they chose to add a greater demon into it to make it more interesting. I mean, I already found the normal case interesting enough, but apparently Hollywood didn't think it was interesting enough. And Lorraine was obviously okay with it, so I'm gonna say I'm okay with it. It just bothers me that Hollywood feels like if it's based on a true story, they have to add certain things to make it more interesting. Like, the story itself was interesting, so why do you feel like you have to add more things? It just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't think that was needed. But a little announcement at the end. One fun fact is okay, so let's see, Halloween is on a Sunday this year. If you go to the KCAM9 page on Halloween, the page that I put down below, that Instagram, if you type that into Instagram, go and give that page a follow, and if you go on Halloween, you'll see my Halloween costumes. And you will also see one look that I decided to do. I wanted to do a makeup inspired dress up as a villain from a horror movie. I thought about doing multiple, but then I realized with my job, nobody's got time for that. So I decided to do one that stood out from the rest. And so I decided I'm going to be recreating The Nun. So if you want to see those recreations of The Nun, I will put them up on that Instagram, so you can go and give my Instagram a follow. That will be the Instagram listed down below. And if you, I mean, I'm probably going to be vlogging what we do on Halloween. And the day before, I'm probably going to be vlogging, as in, you know, vlogging the transformation. So yeah, I'll show you what I look like before we start, just in the nun wear, and then I'll show you what I look like after I have the makeup and the pictures being taken, kind of behind the scenes footage for you guys. So if you're interested in that, keep coming back to this channel, turn on post notifications, so click the bell if you want to see those videos. They'll probably be coming out on Halloween, because I think for Halloween we're literally just gonna watch horror movies. But anyway, yeah. So that new Paranormal Activity is coming out, not this week, but next week. So you guys better all go watch that Paranormal Activity movie next week, because you know that's what I'm gonna be doing. And we could talk about that next year too, because we already did Paranormal Activity, so might as well start that off next year. Yeah. So next week is the last movie for this year, and that will be The Conjuring 3 next week. And that'll end the first 3 Conjurings, and that'll end out this year. And then next year we'll get into the rest of the universe. So Annabelle, La Llorona, and The Nun. So I don't know when The Nun 2 is coming out, but there is a Nun 2 coming out, so keep your eye out for that. Also, keep your eye out for The Crooked Man. I'm not kidding. They are making a film called The Crooked Man, which I know Kelly is so hyped for. She's so hyped for the Crooked Man movie. She's gonna be first in line buying tickets. She says justice for the Crooked Man. Anyway, so I think that's all. I think we talked about everything. We did the plot, we did the video clip, we did the writing, and we did Hollywood. Yep, we talked about everything. And I gave you that announcement. So yeah, if you do want me to make a video on anything that we talk about, whether it's Amityville or anything about Ed and Lorraine Warren, leave a comment down below. I don't want to see comments about why I didn't say the demon's name. I've already told you I don't feel comfortable with it. It's kind of dangerous to say the name over and over, so I don't want to. Yeah, so you guys can watch the ending clip of the movie if you want to know all about that greater demon. I'm not going to tell you. I don't... Frankly, it's too late. I'm tired, and I don't want to curse myself. So, yeah. But, yeah, so that's the movie. Next week we will be ending the series this year with The Conjuring 3, the new one that had come out that I saw for my birthday, because it came out close to my birthday. So, yeah. I will see you guys in whatever other video I end up filming this week. Who knows what it could be. Bye.